Hello, hello. Good evening. This is Kenya Rahmaan, author and founder of the Child Support Hustle, and coming live and direct from Jamaica, man. Wagwan to my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Hope y'all, if y'all are watching, a couple people I know subscribed. So if y'all are on here this evening, Wagwan. Uh, so as the title says, a mother has went viral because she made a post bragging, if you will, about turning up at the club and drinks was on her baby's dad. Why? Why? Oh, why? So I haven't been live in quite some time. I think I did a live. I'm not even sure the last time I did, but so I want to do a live and try to be more consistent. I've been traveling and things like that. So I hope you join me. If you do, thank you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. I'm gonna jump right in. If you're here, great. If you watch this later, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. So, over the years, parents paying child support have demanded that custodial parents provide provide receipts for what the child support is spent on. After years and years, they've been ignored for the most part. So what happens when the mother, like I said, posts a video, makes a post, and I guess it was on TikTok as well, and says, she turned up, drinks is on her baby's dad, and of course people didn't like that. I don't even know why at this point. Why? So one commenter said, TikTok brought me here. You do know that you're the laughing stock of TikTok right now. You embarrassing. You're embarrassing. The mother responded that she didn't give a fuck about no TikTok. So so somebody replied to that and said, you don't give she don't give a fuck about them babies either. Someone else quoted, women take pride in posting things they should be ashamed of. No humility. And the last comment, and that's the one I want to talk about, um, is that somebody said somebody should report her ass. So that's what I want to discuss. Like, even though child support is a welfare recovery program, the question definitely comes up as to, if someone can be reported when they say that they are misusing child support money. Because if they're not spending it on the children or the child, are there any consequences, like if you use welfare expenditures or your welfare check on something other than what it's supposed to be used for? And the answer is no. There's no punishments or anything that happen if you find out that the child support money that is intended for the children are spent, like in this case, on alcohol at the club. So a few years ago, if a paying parent demanded a receipt to show where his or her money was spent, the response would be a resounding no. You can't get that. But as over the years, there have been some changes in jurisdictions as to if and why receipts can be requested by paying parents. And for good cause too. The mother posting about her spending at the club is not an isolated incident. Definitely. It's not an isolated incident. So whether it's a fuck you to the paying parent, or if it's really what many custodial parents say as a response, which is a lot of parents say, oh, I pay for the rent, I pay mortgage, I pay the utilities. this is my payback. So I could spend this money on whatever I want. Well, a response to that is, you have to pay those bills anyway. You're an adult, so you have to pay rent. You have to pay mortgage. You have to pay for utilities. So this other person, this child, that's just an extra. You have to pay those main basic bills anyway. So that's what a lot of paying parents say. So there should be some kind of accountability for how that child support is spent. So a lot of times, and what I've seen is a lot of times these receiving parents or the custodial parents, they think it's funny and they say, oh, this little $24 a month or this $200, that ain't nothing. You can't go on vacation with that little bit of money, that bullshit ass money or something like that. But okay, that money might be a little bit of money, but there's people out here really paying some serious, serious money. There's people out here paying $2,000 a month, $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month, and there's no accountability to say where that bread is going. So if you have somebody paying $2,000-$3,000 a month, and you see a post that says drinks are on my baby's dad, that baby's dad might be pissed, especially if you go and pick your child up and they have on the same clothes that they had on for last school year, or there's holes in their shoes. Then there's going to be a problem. So, and then I always say that little $25, that little $200, if it's a little $200, why you have more child support? If it's a little funky this or a little bullshit that, take him off child support. If that money is so irrelevant, take him off. So yes, there should be some accountability. But I also say this because the government has zero accountability within that child support system. Why would they require parents to be accountable when they're not accountable? It's a hustle from the top up all the way down. It's a trickle down economic system, and it's a hustle all the way. So why would they expect any accountability when they don't hold anybody accountable in that entire system? So according to HQ.com, and of course I have the links in the description. So according to HQ.com, as a general rule, most states do not require parents to prove how they actually spent child support payments. That's a problem in itself. HQ.com goes on to say that courts generally infer that parents with physical custody will provide the necessary expenses to raise the child. Why would they infer that? That's just saying, okay, you can just go and do whatever with the money. You're giving free money, tax-free money at that, to somebody's to do whatever with. So they don't even do that with welfare checks. People say welfare is free money. You can do whatever. There's this big, stigma about welfare, welfare queens, and all this kind of stuff. No, they account for every penny of that. They don't just give a welfare check to a mother, or a father. I'm sorry. You have to work for that. You have to account for your time. You have to account for where that money is going. They have time limits for welfare benefits. You have to go and you have to do 20 hours, 30 hours of some type of work or school program. But if a child support order is in place, they just want that parent just to pay, and the money can just go up in smoke. Literally, weed, crack, whatever that parent, if that parent's on drugs, that money can just get smoked up. And the paying parent is not supposed to say anything about it. Just how ridiculous does that sound? In the case of this mother who was admitting to spending child support at the bar, the judge would have to infer that all the children's needs have already been met. That's a huge inference. inference. So just nothing. And she's admitting that, and she's not the only one. That's what I'm saying. And she went viral. Let me see how many. But when I wrote this, so this was early today, there were 3,000 laughs. So people thought the shit was funny. 7.7 thousand shares and 2.2 thousand comments before she turned her comments off. So where was I? So I was going to use statistics as far as like if the government would go in and we'll see the statistics about kids being removed from homes when they're malnutrition, they're not being properly cared for, the moms at the club buying the bar instead of making sure the kids have food. But we know that the government agencies will go in and take anybody's kids out of the home because they get money for that too. So those numbers are not reliable because they do whatever they want in order to get that money. So I'm not going to use those stats because those are no good. But we do know that according to the US Census Bureau, they reported that mothers were awarded custody in approximately 80% of cases in 2018. So we know the system is biased. Just because a woman can biologically give birth does not mean that she's the better parent. And so that's a stigma that has been taught and taught over and over. So we have to get our mindset out of that way of thinking, because back when all these guidelines and when the system was really put in place, men were the breadwinners. Women did not work outside the home. So if a man left his wife and children, women did not go out and work. They were really left destitute. So they had to do something, or the government was going to have to take care of the family that he left destitute. Well, that's not the case anymore. So they just the government figured out a way, hey, we can bank off of this. And that's what we have now. So let me see, HQ.com said to think that judges may have found that the task was too daunting to continuously oversee how child support payments were applied. Oh, I'm sorry. They said that the judges felt that to go by and find out how the money was spent was too daunting a task. So that's why they didn't do it. So when you think about that, to figure out where the money is going was too daunting. But if a parent misses a payment, that parent faces punishments ranging from having their license suspended, that's driver's license, business license, hunting, fishing license, all the way to a felony conviction and prison sentence. So they need to hold that parent accountable. Just to say that it's too daunting, well, you get paid for that. If you don't do it, you have other people underneath you that can do it. Somebody needs to be accountable. Just to say it's daunting, I mean, shit, there's a whole bunch of things that's daunting, but it needs to be done. So just to make sure that the children get the money, then you do it. So the child support is spent on the child. No, they don't care. That's the thing. They don't care. They have this child support system, and they keep saying child support is for the kids. It's for the kids. It's for the best interest of the kids. And when you really look, you don't even have to look that hard. You don't even have to look that hard. You can just read something like what I'm doing right now. Just, they don't care. So some arguments that the website lists that fathers have, and I know mothers pay child support, but this website was specific to fathers, and they list some misuses that fathers have voiced in the past. They say mothers may live off the child support, We know that's true. We know that if a mother receives child support, we're talking about 1,000, 2,000, 3. You can live off of that. That's a paycheck. So if you're getting money that you know is guaranteed income, tax free, for at least 18 years, in some states 21 years, some parents will keep their kids in school just to get a check. I have heard that some parents will have their kids, custodial parents, diagnosed with a disability just to get that child support continued for life. Because if your child has a disability, that parent has to keep paying for the rest of that child's life. I mean, if you think about it, why wouldn't they? That's free money. They said some of the fathers said they may refuse to get a job. The custodial parent may refuse to get a job or even look for employment. Why would they? They don't. That is the job, to sit home and collect child support. You don't have to work. They may use the payments for cigarettes or drugs. Well, who's going to stop them? You can go by the bar and brag about it, and there's nothing anybody's going to do about it. Since the fathers are required to make payments, this is one of their complaints, is they should have the right to see where the money is spent. That makes perfect sense. If you have a food stamp card and you try to go buy some liquor with it, you can't go to a liquor store and buy some liquor with a food stamp card. And y'all know what I'm talking about on social media. How many people do y'all hear complain about people with a food stamp card buying lobster tails and steak and whatever luxuries that they feel that they deem is a luxury with that food stamp card? Now just imagine a father seeing their kid without their hair done or whatever, and their mom's off in Jamaica, and the kid ain't not eating or whatever. It's the same thing. But people are such hypocrites that they'll complain about that, but won't say anything, because they'll say, well, the dad needs to do this and the dad needs to, and he's not here to wake up in the middle of the night. Just stupid shit. Just stupid shit. Okay, so some jurisdictions agree with them, with the dads. The following states have some type of statute on their books that can require a parent receiving child support to show proof of where the money was spent. So these have been in effect since 2008. And I don't know if I added the link. If I didn't, I'll go back and add it. So we have Delaware, Indiana, Louisiana, Missouri, and Nebraska. So as an example, the statute in Delaware says that, upon showing good cause, the court may order the person receiving the support to account for the expenditure and management of the funds. So the rest of those statutes read similar to that one. The next states don't have a statute in place like that one, but they have language on record that may require the custodial parent to produce receipts. That's Colorado, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Washington, the state. Oklahoma, for example, has a statute that says, sorry guys, that says that child support orders may include such provisions as the court deems appropriate to assure that the child support payments are used to support the child. So there's some, some jurisdictions they do have something, because somebody probably complained, just like we're talking about, like, what's up with this? And some judge said, this is unacceptable. So I am always saying, closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if this is your situation, or if this was your baby's mom and you're watching this video and you saw that post, I would file a complaint. This is what she's doing with my child support money. And, go from there, make her show, see what you can do to make her produce receipts. So every jurisdiction should have something like this in their guidelines, in their jurisdictions, because of the reasons that I've discussed, and that's in the chat. You should not be able to brag openly about committing fraud, and that's what that is essentially. You're saying you're getting X amount of dollars to support your children. Somebody's paying you, the other parent is paying you to support your children, and you are at the bar buying drinks. That's fraud. And we have to stop excusing this behavior. Not to say that we do, but going on social media and making comments and stuff like that, that's not enough. It's not enough. Again, I can't stress enough, commenting and calling names on social media is not going to spark any kind of change that's needed to fix this type of problem. Serious change, like ensuring that child support money is spent on children, requires legislative support. There are elections coming up. There's always elections going on. And when you reach out to your legislators about issues like this, if they ignore you or they don't want to talk about stuff like this, y'all need to vote them out. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen, when I've talked to legislators, sent letters, lobbied at the Texas State Capitol. Look, I'm pointing like I'm still in Texas, but I've seen how this works. And what really has to happen if we want change is you have to put politicians in there that are going to fight to change this bullshit. There is no reason that a person receiving money to take care of your children should be openly bragging that they're spending that money on anything besides the kids. I was just like, wow. But I've been seeing it all for years. But that it's even going on now is just, still is bullshit. Why would you even put that on? Anyway, anything for some likes and clicks and views and shit, I guess. But if she's telling the truth like that, that's. But that's my video. I thank y'all for joining me. Hey, somebody said, hey, lady, hey, back. How are you? It happens all the time. Yes, it does. And yes, they do brag. They think that shit is cute, and it's not. I really, I don't know. I just really hope that we get more active, or you guys, y'all know, I love saying that I'm retired, but I really hope, I know people are still out there really active, and I just really hope that y'all, I guess, lobby and vote these people out. One thing is Senator Warnock out of Atlanta. He's got a child support order, and he's got they're saying that he spent campaign funds on child support, which I wrote about him and I researched him, and it's not true. They're him and Herschel Walker. There's a lot of smearing going on, which that happens in politics. But what I'm really surprised about is that he's not more active, Senator Warnock, in talking about child support issues and child custody issues. Like ex-wife is trying to relocate their children off to all the way up east, like to go to college, like in where, like somewhere East Coast, like Boston or somewhere like that, and she wants to take the kids, and he's trying to fight that. So I just don't understand. I mean, why he's not addressing this issue. So, hey, if anybody's in Atlanta and Georgia, and he's trying to be reelected, ask him, tweet to him, why aren't you addressing this? And there's other politicians that are going through this system. Why aren't y'all discussing this? That's something that we need to ask them. They're asking for your vote, and um, that's a hot campaign. Like those two guys are at it. So that's something to ask them. And we know what Herschel Walker has going on with the kids that were brought up, or he had kids that he said he didn't have. So these he pays child support for. So why aren't y'all talking about this? That's just what off the top of my head, just because I wrote about these guys. So that's an example. Like, why aren't our politicians talking about this? And then Roe v. Wade was just overturned. So this is a hot topic. And then they talk about fatherlessness. Okay, what about parental alienation? Y'all want child support money, but y'all don't want fathers to have access to their children. So these politicians down near DeSantos, down in Florida, he talks about this a lot. Why aren't you talking about child support, DeSantos? Why aren't you talking about parental alienation? Why aren't we pressing them? I know I tweet to them all the time. So that's something. Just throwing it out there. If you're trying to get active creations, that's how you get active at the legislators and at the local level. It doesn't always have to be at the federal level. Your local politicians, talk to them, because they are very important. They really are. So that is my video. Please stay tuned, because I'm going to be breaking down. His name is Shan, I think, White, Mississippi's state auditor. He just put out this report, if you want to call it that, about fatherlessness out of Mississippi. And don't forget, the attorney general out of Mississippi is the one that spearheaded the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I'm still researching that one. That's going to be a little bit more detailed, but I'm going to maybe do that. I don't know, but make sure y'all subscribe so y'all know when I'm going live. I'm gonna start doing like events, because I want to make sure that y'all know when I'm going to be live, so y'all can join me. Yes. So I figured that instead of her spearheading that and working so hard to overturn Roe v. Wade, she should have been making sure, because they said that was a long time in the making. She should have been making sure that the children there that are already there had clean water. They have the highest child poverty rate in the country, and they've had that ranking for a long time. And don't forget, Mississippi doesn't pass through any child support to the children, the low income children that are on welfare. They don't pass through a dime, but they do. What is it now? The for every dollar, they were getting double digits back for their return, but now it's like $8, 8 and some change. So they're doing very well on their return on investments for their child support system. So yeah, they got some issues over in Mississippi. I've written about and talked about Mississippi child support system several times. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget, like, share, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys. I don't have a book, but if I have one, if y'all want to get a copy of my book, The Child Support Hustle, you can do so at my website, thechildsupporthustle.com. Be looking for my second book. Hopefully I'll have my draft written before I leave here. And hopefully what I'm hoping is that I will have it ready Thank you. I appreciate you too, King. I think you're a guy. Appreciate you too. Have it ready for you guys by the beginning of the new year. That is my plan. But Jamaica just got me just sitting back, just chilling. I love it here, but I'm supposed to be writing, so I am making myself get motivated to get back to work. And I miss being here talking to you guys. So I appreciate you. So till next time, and oh, you're welcome, Johnny. Thank you for being here and supporting me. It means so much. I really appreciate it. I love to be able to bring the information that I bring, and um, yeah, it's my passion really, and I'm happy that the information it helps you guys. Because what else am I gonna do with all this in my head? It's like 20 years of child support stuff. Okay, so I appreciate you too, King. So y'all have a good night. Oh, if y'all on Twitter, follow me and I'll follow you back at Ms. Rahmaan, MZ Rahmaan, whatever what my name is here on Twitter. So just Twitter's crazy. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget, subscribe, make sure your notifications are turned on. All right. Y'all have a good one. Fight the power.